The first 2 weeks in Vegas have been...
You want a fucking tournament?
insane.
Yes! I just want another tournament. I ran incredibly hot.
The thing that I still can't get over is that this was all just the beginning of something I've been working towards for 6 years. In this video, you're going to see me battling in the Millionaire Maker, playing in a tournament where there's $1 million for second. It's a huge tournament, and I'm having a deep run.
I feel like me of every other trip I've been here would be in awe of like the run I'm having right now. Yeah, it really isn't about the money as much as the money is very nice. I probably oversold a little bit, to be honest. I had about 55% of my action. I won like 41.8k. It means I'm almost certainly gonna have a winning trip. I played so many tournaments in this city. Obviously a lot of them are really big field and expectations are a little bit different then. It's funny, I had the cream chocolate earlier today, and there was definitely a point where I was like, fuck, I've had too much. Have I just ruined my day because like I might be not able to play poker. I feel like it did help me in some ways too. Definitely got me thinking about some things, like when you're playing, it's easy to either throw yourself a victory party, like when you play a hand really well, and you get max value or a bluff gets through, to almost be like, yeah, I fucking played that hand well, I'm fucking good poker player doing good poker player stuff. And I think, or the opposite, where you're like, oh, like, fuck me, I shouldn't have done that bluff, like that was a bad hero call, and you're gonna go off balance in those moments in the both directions, but I think it definitely leads to like lapses in focus if you don't ground yourself very quickly. When you make a good play, I want to tell people about it. I want to write it down. I want to be like, yeah, like I played this hand, like especially if it's something really cool. And I noticed that in myself today when I got like the big bluff through. But like, why? That's literally my job to do this. You know, play hands well. Like obviously it's nice to acknowledge you're playing good, but you don't want to just stay in that like, yeah, I'm playing good, I'm doing all these things. Like I think it can just lead to you playing slightly worse. I just feel like I'm making it harder to play against me the way that I'm kind of conducting myself in the hands. It sounds silly. I feel like a warrior. I feel like I'm in war, I'm in battle, and I'm like ready to take anyone on, ready to like when you're in a hand with someone, it doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter if fucking Steven Chidwick, Michael Adamo, like I'm bringing it, and I'll happily battle anyone. I've won 2 tournaments and had 2 sick deep runs in the World Series and had another final table. Jesus Christ, man. 12 tournaments in a row without cashing, but just bloody win one, so it doesn't matter, does it? Who cares? Next tournament, let's play. I'm gonna win a fucking bracelet, man, I'm telling you. That's the big one. I had a pretty fucking sick cash session. I started with 1,000, I cashed out like just over 5.6, so I won like 4.6k in a couple of hours, which is crazy, like absurd. Like I'm just in some ridiculous heater right now. And then 2 a.m. went to a steakhouse because there's a really nice steakhouse that you can sit down until 2:30 in the morning in Vegas called Herbs and Rye, which is actually a really like good quality steakhouse too. When I was sitting there, I was literally like, what a life. I am living the dream. Playing good, running good, eating a steak dinner at fucking 2 a.m. Just so many things to be grateful for. I went to play the 2.2k mystery bounty at the Aria. Got there for the start of level 2, pretty plain sailing. 40k went up to like 170, table was good, a late reg closed. And then I played what I think is probably the most interesting hand I've had of the trip so far, which I will quickly recount. There's a guy I'd had a few, not battles, but like kind of hands against where it's showing I was playing kind of loose aggressive against him. He made a good hero against me, although he had a hand which I think he's supposed to call. So far, I've seen him block the river, like bet like 10 or 20%, and then have the hand, which is like third pair or something, the hand that makes sense. It wasn't like a trap, and it wasn't a bluff. And I've seen him mostly play like kind of aggressive pre, opening a bit light, but then seems to have it post-flop. We're like 165 left with 93 making day 2, and it's a mystery bounty, so that's more reason to try and spin up a stack, not care as much about the bin cash. He opens from middle position, 1500 free K, makes it 6.5. I have ace king in the hijack, I make it 20k. I was just really happy to get it in, got like 43 bigs. He tanks for a very long time, and he calls, and I don't know if he's tanking to think about folding or tanking to think about 4-betting non-all in or to think about jamming, but I know he tanked for long enough that I know he had a real decision. He was thinking about what to do. He didn't necessarily know what he was going to do because the tank was just too long. So that kind of condenses his range a little bit, gives us some clues. Flop comes jack, 8-6 rainbow, diamond, heart, spade, and I have like diamond, spade, so I have 2 suits on the board. He tanks and check, and there was kind of some weirdness going on because he should probably just range check here. Might be some weird lead in sometimes, but I expect most people to just check and play in flow. The tank check check is sometimes weakness, because the tank is almost like he's pretending he's thinking about the board, like he's thinking about doing something, and then goes to check, almost like he's trying to portray he's stronger than he is. After he checked, he kind of like, say like he's like checked and like looking at the board, he then is just like this and like looks over in the distance. And this is usually kind of a strength tell, because like, why would you appear disinterested in a 3-bet pot? You can't really ever be too disinterested. You can't have nothing. You can't not have like a pair or a backdoor or something. And if you do, like, you'd still rather face a check or like not give away that you just check folding. So it was almost like I had a weakness towel and a strength towel, which I didn't know what to make of. I think with my hand, I can bet quarter, I can bet half, I can check. So I went with check. I could have done any of them, to be honest. I didn't have a strong feeling about what to do. Turn is a 4, and now he, within like 30 seconds, I think, he bets 35,000 into a pot of 47.5k, which is a pretty big bet, or maybe it's close to geometric. So like, it makes sense if he wants to play for stacks. It makes sense to do this with like ace jack, pocket queens, pocket aces if he has a set. Because it looks like I've got ace king a lot, or like pocket tens, or like a medium strength hand, I felt like he was trying to make me fold ace king instead of trying to value bet. And it's possible he has one size and I'm wrong. I know I'm getting owned a little bit here, but if I was call ace king, but I have to go with my reading game, and I just thought it feels like he's trying to make me fold with the size. I think if he has a set, he bets smaller. So I end up calling the turn. I also think he's going to give up the river more if I call, because now it looks like I don't have ace king as often. I've got something better. The river is one of the worst cards in the deck. The river's a 7. So 9-10 suited makes a straight. 9-7 suited, A7 suited make a pair that I don't need to bluff. So I'm already thinking, oh, that's a terrible river. And he tanks, and he keeps tanking, and he keeps tanking. And I swear about 2 minutes passed to where I was like, is he trying to muster up the courage to do a bluff here? And I got really suspicious of the very long tank. But then I also am really struggling to see bluffs. It has to be king 10 suited, king queen suited, queen 10 suited, queen 9 suited if he called pre, it's a bit loose. Ace 3 suited, but then again, it'd be loose pre, and like, does he always bet the turn? And then he bets 15,000, which is a tiny bet. Last time I saw him block, he had a good hand, but maybe he's good enough to do this with a bluff too. I didn't know what to do. It's a really small size, so I was really tempted to just flick it in and be like, let's just see what he's got. I'm getting a good price. Is he really bluffing for this size? I don't know. What's he targeting? Because if I have a pair, I'm always just flicking in the call. So then he has to be targeting ace king or ace queen. He has to be targeting one of those hands, which means he has to think I called the turn with those hands, which kind of goes against my logic of calling the turn. So I got into this kind of logic trap. I decided, well, I guess he could have like a set. Maybe I was wrong about my read on the turn. He could have ace 5 suited. Maybe he's trying to just get me to call light now that he's got there. Or like 9-10 suited, maybe he's trying to get me to spaz out. I ended up folding very suspiciously, and I really wanted to know what he had. And I could tell immediately when I folded that he wanted to show me, which meant he was bluffing. And he showed me king 10 suited, so I don't know, I guess he got me this time. And obviously it never feels good when you have a close decision in a big pot and you make the wrong decision. Fair play, he did a really nice bet on the river. I didn't necessarily think he was ever bluffing for this size. And then I got queens into aces to bust, which was a shame. Tomorrow I'm gonna play the 1500 Millionaire Maker, 3rd best tournament of the trip. It's 60-minute clock. It's full of recreationals. It's like fucking 5-day tournament or something. And second place usually gets $1 million. So let's get back on track. I'm about to go play the Millionaire Maker, and a later start than I would have liked. So let's go bag the chip lead in the Millionaire Maker. I bagged for the Millie Maker. It was a good day. I had one pretty fun hand. The guy in the big blind just was like visually tilted. He got an overpair against the set and lost a huge pot, and he was left with 3.3k, 500 big blind. The button, young German guy, I think he's a reg. He opens the button to like 1.2. I'm in the small blind with ace jack off, and I was like, obviously I'd free bet most of the time, but I think it's a really nice spot to trap, because if I call, the big blind's going to jam a lot because he's tilted and he's got like 6 bigs left or whatever. And then the button is not going to expect me to have that many hands that can call a back jam. So if he's open like ace 2 off, you know, like king 5 suited and hands like this, he might just stick in 50 to 55 bigs that we have effective, and then my ace jack gets a really print call. So I call, big blind goes all in, button's tanking, and I'm like, go on, jam. Come on, please jam. He goes all in. I'm like, yes, fucking, I got him. Call. Put in 55 bigs, ace jack off, snap call. I've got him. The guy in the big blind shows ace king suited. So obviously, like, I think he's jamming there wide, but he has top of range. And then the button shows ace king offsuit. So they somehow both have ace king. I bloody hit a straight, didn't I? So I won. That was pretty nice. And then we spent 4 to 6 hours at like a pretty tough table overall. Most people playing really good. David Peters joined at one point. It was like mostly regs. Obviously not ideal for like huge field 1500. Like you want a soft table, but it is what it is. Not much happened. I moved to a new table. Not much happened. Moved to a new table. I got like top pair against 2 pair against the guy from Brazil, which, you know, I'm just obligated to lose 2 big bets like I did. And I bagged 52,000 chips which is like 21 bigs, but I only did 1 bullet, which is a huge win. In a tournament, you couldn't be in for 8 bullets, and I would have been if I was, you know, playing every day and there early, and it could have easily happened. Really close to the money. There's like 22% of the field left, and tomorrow I get to have my 2nd day off of the trip.
It's really important to have breaks in Las Vegas.
I just ordered an Uber, and look at this. I got a bus.
And I was going to fulfill a childhood dream and go see one of my heroes, Weird Al Yankovic.
Today I played day 2 of the Millionaire Maker. Started with 50,000 chips, which was like 21 big blinds. Very low expectations, but you know, it was pretty close to the money. It was like, it'd be nice if I get paid. It'd be nice if I can do something. First level, I folded every hand, and then I won flip. And then I got a really nice spot where there's a very aggressive Ukrainian guy on my left. A recreational, like tight older guy opened the cutoff, and I didn't think he was going to 4-bet light, so I flatted with ace king on the button, thinking the big blind was a reg with a jam stack, and the small blind was this aggressive guy that I've seen 3-bet squeeze like pretty light. Small blind squeezes, the opener folds, the plan came together, I go all in, calls, he's got ace queen suited. It's a trap! It's a cooler, but you know, if I 3-bet, maybe he does something different and I hold, and then I just had one of the nicest days of poker for the most part. Got my 50k up to 1.7 million at one point. It was just, every hand I played seemed to just go well. I was making good hands and my bluffs were getting through. It was just a really nice day of poker. And then very last level of the day, I had one hand. I think I could have played a little bit better against a South American guy, but I didn't have any reads. I 3-bet ace 10, cut off versus hijack. He calls. We're like 1.7 million deep to start the hand at 20k big. So like 2 of the chip leaders of the tournament were over 80 bigs. Comes queen 10 free rainbow. I decided to range bet a quarter, which, I mean, in hindsight, I could have checked back as well. He raised small. I bet 75 into like 290. He makes it 180. I call. I'm getting a good price, and I'm like, I block some value. I blocked one of the only 2 queen 10 suited. I blocked 10s. I'm like, I'll keep him honest for 1. Turn was a 4, brought a flush draw, and he bet 375k. I think in hindsight, I should have folded here, but at the time, I used the fact that I didn't have the ace of spades, which blocks bluffs. I had the 10 that blocked queen 10 suited, which blocks value. And I thought, if he's over bluffing, he's gonna have jack 9, king jack, maybe ace jack, maybe like ace 3, maybe ace 5 suited backdoor. Like, obviously, because I've studied these spots, I know a lot about the hands that you can choose to bluff. And then one of my issues sometimes is giving someone credit for being capable of doing that, even if they haven't proven it yet. Which, even though I always say to people, they have to earn the respect. But this guy was from South America, had a huge stack, and like, I just gave him too much credit without having the info. Well, potentially, I mean, I don't know yet. So I called the turn, even though I thought it was a pretty close spot. And then the river's at 8, he jammed and I folded, because now jack 9 gets there, and like, if he wants to follow through and jam for almost his tournament life, then fair play, the bluff works. But I could have folded the turn there. And then the last level, I got moved to a table with all recreational players, and I just lost like every hand for the last level, so I ended up bagging 620k, but I've got 25 bigs. The dream is alive, and there's $1 million per second. So I'm gonna go get some sleep and keep being zoned in and playing good.
Update in the Millionaire Maker. I had a pretty good start. I lost a flip and won a flip. Most hands went my way. I got up to like 1.something million again, and then I moved to a new table, and I get a ridiculous spot where very first hand, I'm literally taking my chips out the rack, I open queens, low jack calls. Big blind is an older guy, but doesn't necessarily look like a nit, but he's just like in his 60s or something. He squeezes the 250k pretty fast, and min raise to 60. And we're like pretty deep, so I just call, we're like 35, 40 bigs deep. The other guy folds, so the pot's 650. He's playing 850, so I guess we'll have 36 bigs to start the hand. I just about cover him. Comes 975 rainbow, and he kind of goes, like does like a bit of a sigh, looks at his stack, and then goes all in for 850k or 830k. And I basically decided, like, I've been in this spot before and been shown aces, and every now and again they have ace king and it sucks, but jacks, he might even flat pre and he might never bluff. He might literally have like queens, kings, aces only sometimes. Obviously that's an easy fold then. Some world where he has like a little bit of ace king, some world where he has a lot of ace king, some world where he has jacks every time, some world where he has a random ruffle with fucking 8-9 suited, I don't know. So I just went with the info I had, which was that I think queens would be a back call there in ICM, and I folded, and he showed me pocket jacks. But I still think the fold is right, just with the info that I had, which is the only thing that you can go on. And the better thing about it is, after I saw his hand, the way I felt was fine. If anything, good. Even though like it's worst case scenario, but the full process I had to make my decision, I thought was sound. I thought about it a lot, and I was happy with my decision. And I understood that sometimes he is going to have jacks. It made me happy and proud.
shout out to the sirens. I just felt really zoned in, ready for the next hand, and then in that orbit, I played quite a few hands, and I think I played really good. And I took my like 950 gains, it's just over 2 million, even cool with that same old guy. And after the braid, there's going to be like 145 people left, and I have like 1.5 million now, which is 25 big. So I'm feeling good.
A few moments later.
All right, here's my bust out hand. And I'm actually tilted. I opened king 7 o'clock in the hijack, I think. Big blind is a tight player, and I played with him yesterday. There's a spot where he's opened jack 9 of hearts, late position, blocked the flush, and gone like big bet jam turn. So he's like, I know he wants to get it in fast, he's scared, like he's just a tight guy. He defends the big blind. So I've min raised to like 120, he's called, bot's 330. Comes 10, 10, 9 with 2. Was it 2 hearts? Yeah, 2 hearts. Oh no, fire rainbow flop. I bet like 85k, he calls. So already I'm like, yeah, he's got pocket pairs, he's got like king, queen, jack, he's got some maybe ace jacks, he's got 9x, so the pot's like 500k. The turn pairs the 10. I'm like, well, that's a great card, because now if he has king, like ace, king, queen, jack, because he's a tight player, he's going to overfold the turn. If he has a pocket pair below the 9, if he's going to overfold the turn. If he's got a 9, maybe he hangs on one more every time. And I can decide if I want to bluff the river. So I bet 300k. And the way he called the flop was a bit suspicious, almost like he gave it quite a long tank, and almost I was a bit like, is he trying to make himself look weak here? Like, because he kind of did, which is normally strength. He did the same thing on the turn, like in the way he threw it in was almost like, oh fuck it, I'll call. So I was like, fuck, it really feels like he's actually pretty strong here. Like, does he have like pocket jacks or like a 10? And then the river's a king. And I said to myself, okay, I'm going to check back, because I think he's always folding a 9. He might have a 10 here sometimes. Maybe even has aces here sometimes. And if he has like jacks or queens, he might hear a fold the river. So I've made my mind up. I've river top boat, and I'm going to check. And then he dunk jams the river. And I have like, how much do I have on the river? The pot's 1.1. I have like 700k plus some change, 700 to 800k. And I literally was like, it's not a bluff, you don't have any bluffs. Queen jack of hearts would have made a straight flush as well, which is like one straight flush you might get there with. And if he has king 9, river's the same hand, you might do this as well, and my price is really good. And because I've rivered a hand, which obviously is worth putting the rest in usually, I tanked for ages. Pretty much knew based on his body language too that he just wasn't going to be bluffing this spot, but I didn't find the fold. It just felt too hard to find the fold when I can obviously have like jacks and queens to fold every time, and he had jack 10 for quads, so that's GG.
You know, I'm always told that I'm very stoic and zen and calm and I don't get tilted. So I'm gonna give you a bit of a rare treat here, and I'm gonna show you the raw emotion I felt after busting this event, because it's another side of me, and I think it's only fair to show that I do experience these things too, and sometimes I do have to process them, and this was a way of me processing it immediately after the event.
You know, I've calmed down now, I feel good again, but I'm just gonna give you the voice of anger that was in my head. When he jammed the river, I was like, this fucking guy, like what? Why does he have a river donking range? Obviously, like, doesn't make sense. He wants me to, even though I was going to check back a king, he wants me to play in flow, value jam, and I've got aces to bluff, and I have potentially a lot of bluffs here. Like, he looks like he has a 9x or worse. It's a spot where he wants to invite the pressure when he has fucking quads once in a blue moon that didn't raise already. So, you know, I feel like this guy's won the max, he's cool with me, but he's done it in the most annoying way possible, and my head was just like, this guy's fucking pussy. Like, why can't he just play the game how it should be played? And like, why is he even pretending he can have a bluff here when obviously he can't? Like, he doesn't have his jack of hearts, he doesn't have was it jack 8 of hearts, the only other combo. I mean, maybe that's literally the only one. I was just so like this, like, it just feels like a bit of an injustice, because like I felt like I was on top of most of it with the info indices and everything, and just like skidded off the road in the last decision, and he just wins the max. It's on me. I'm mad with myself for it. I know I could play better, obviously, because it's the biggest sweat, where the second prize in this tournament's $1 million and 40 players left, and there's not that many pros left. There's a lot of recreationals left. It's the one where I kind of feel it the most. It's like, it feels at that point like the tournament is actually winnable. It feels like it's an actual real sweat, and now it's gone. But I'm obviously lucky and grateful to have had the run. I ran really good and played mostly really good in the tournament, and it's just another lesson, following my gut. So that's the takeaway. I'm gonna go play $500 tournament now, and on to the next one.
The deep runs and insane sweats do not end there. Please join me on the next Vegas vlog, where I get the highest EV spot of my poker career. Maybe, just maybe, a huge World Series final table with a chip lead. It will be out soon. Please like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and thanks for watching.